Today, we'll be learning about AI bias and discrimination. Within the past few years, artificial intelligence has been rapidly introduced into our daily lives. At this point, it's fair to say that everything you do online is related to AI in some way. This powerful computing tool can help us to recommend our favorite videos on YouTube, decide whose posts to see on Instagram, and even diagnose tumors. It's important to know that AI are essentially based on neural networks, which is a structure that process and learn things similar to a human brain. And so it learns things just like you and I do. We learn stuff from finding patterns in our surroundings and applying this knowledge from what we have seen to classify new information. For example, based on the information we've learned on the right, if we were now introduced to a medium-sized, edible item that's also red, we would probably guess that it's an apple. Let's say that we have here an AI that can predict if an apple is good or bad. Our data is never perfect, as it always consists of certain flaws, but we'll talk about two flaws. One is called overfitting, and the other one is bias data. Overfitting is essentially when we have a model that follows too closely to the given information and failing when used to predict future information. As you can see on the graph in the picture, although the graph that we have come up with fits the current data perfectly, it does not really represent the linear trend in our data. However, if we didn't have enough variety in the data sets we're given for different types of apples, our AI model will become very good at performing specific tasks for certain types of apples, but struggling when introduced to apples of different sizes or colors, which is also a source of how AI bias and discrimination arises. For example, let's say we had an AI that has only seen mathematicians, engineers, or doctors that are male. Then if we talk to them about someone in a similar career field or path, it would probably make the assumption that the subject we're referring to is also male, which would be a reasonable guess based on their past data. However, this data-driven, seemingly harmless assumption can have many issues when implemented into the real world. Continuing from our example before, if all the people in a certain occupation are of, let's say, gender A, then all the people good at their jobs in this field will also be of that gender. And therefore, AI processing that information might think other genders are incapable of performing those tasks just as well. A study in CMU found that when anonymous users, which identified as female or male, visited the same sites, the ad algorithm consistently recommended male users to higher-end managing jobs that paid more, while recommending female users to the opposite. Although mislabeling gender pronoun might be a small issue that upsets one person, in the long run, this could fuel gender stereotypes and have adverse long-term effects. It's important that when we look at a cumulative issue like this, to not wave our hands, because a lot of very little also builds up to a lot. Furthermore, ProPublica revealed that the Compass AI, which essentially analyzes criminals and assigns them with a score which indicates their chances of committing a crime again. It turns out the algorithm does worse than randomly guessing, and it is way more likely to give people of color a higher score. We see that discrimination in our current day society has manifested itself in the data, which has then been passed on to the AI. We should carefully consider biases and possible discrimination in AI when they are now gradually being implemented into more serious roles. They're assisting doctors to make diagnoses about cancer, used in the college process or in the job search process, or translating text for mass audiences. And since we have the decision and power right now to make things right, let's strive for a world that's more fair and better for everyone. My name is Penny, and I'll see you next time.